How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Just be one sec.
No, you're all right, buddy.
I should turn this on.
Here we go.
Oh, good.
How are we, buddy?
How are you? I'm good. I'm good.
That's all right, mate. Thank you, Bryson, for jumping on with this chat with us, mate. I really appreciate you giving me your time, mate. It means a lot.
No, that's all right, mate. It's all good.
Just to give you a bit of a rundown of the page, mate. What I do is I'm trying to promote the game here in Perth. I go to local games. My boys play, so I go to local games, take pictures of juniors, go to senior games, promote the clubs, share all their news and events that they got coming up. But I also share the NRL stuff, so people are up to date with what's going on in the NRL as well.
Yeah, good. That's good, mate. Good on you.
Yeah, so jump into your career, mate. You started in 2007, played for Cronulla, started off at Cronulla.
Yeah.
Go off to the Bulldogs, South. Then you go over to England, play for Warrington. And then you come back last year, the season before, and play with the Sharks in 2020. You've also got to represent New Zealand, and you got to play for the Māori in the Indigenous Western Māoris comp, mate. Mate, I watched your career as well myself, but, do you look back at your career and sort of look back and go, wow, I had a really good career, or was there anything that you sort of regret or anything?
There's not much that I really regret about my career. Pretty happy with everything that I did. I was lucky enough to get to even be able to play in the NRL. I feel sometimes you have to be lucky to actually make it. Like at the end of the day, it comes down to a coach or a trainer or someone, putting your name forward to get picked in the team. So pretty lucky to get to do that. But yeah, and then when I look back on it now, mate, at the time I thought it was just normal for me to be doing all that sort of stuff, But now you look back on it and you see how many young kids, because I've got kids of my own and that, so I'm around junior footy a fair bit. You see how many young kids actually want to go out there and play the game, and to see how lucky I was and to get to be able to play in World Cup finals, grand finals and everything. I've pinched myself a bit, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean, you come from, your family, your brothers, older brothers, and your dad played for Australia and all that sort of stuff. Your brothers played for, NRL as well. So you sort of had that in you as well, So, your career is nothing to be sneezed at all, mate. 244 first grade games. Like you said, there's not many people, and it's a really hard thing to get into. So, you've done a hell of a job, mate.
No, cheers. Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Yeah, I was pretty lucky with injuries and stuff as well, So to get through and play for that amount of time, you get to play at some big clubs as well, like South Sydney's a massive club. The Bulldogs are massive, and Sharks are pretty big too, But so I was so lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah. You're right, mate. Speaking of your family, though, mate, your dad played for New South Wales in Australia.
Yep.
And your older brothers, Bronx and Luke, both played in the NRL as well. Luke ended up played for the Western Reds, mate, which, your whole family lived over here. So how was that, like, sort of following in their footsteps?
No, it was good, mate. Like, for me, that was just normal life, living over in Perth. That was home for me, and I grew up there. So, and then having my older brother come over and be able to play for the Reds was really good as well. So then to be able to get the chance to hang around the players and the staff and that, get to go to some training sessions, and that really, it sort of just gives you a little bit of a taste to maybe see what you want to sort of do and that. So I was pretty lucky, and then got to do be ball boy at the games and that as well. So got pretty close to it all.
Yeah, awesome. I was reading up that you played when you were over here. You played for the Canning Bulldogs and South Perth Lions as well, mate.
Yeah, mate. It's Canning Bulldogs Junior. Then pretty sure I had to move to South Perth because I think Canning lost a few teams in that. So yeah, went to South Perth. Great club. Had a whole heap of us now that have played. A few of us that have got to play in the NRL together, and get to play against a couple of the boys, which is pretty cool. You know, like being from Perth, an AFL dominated state, to have three of us sort of around the same age all come through and play in the NRL is pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome. No, that's awesome. When you got to play for New Zealand and even more the Māori team, representing your grandparents' heritage, how much of a proud moment was that for you and your family?
Yeah, that was unreal, mate. It was so proud to be able to do that for like my dad's side of the family, and that especially last year at the All Stars, to play in that team with some special plays, and just to see how many of the boys are actually in the actual comp in that now, you know, was unreal. And then to play and then to win as well. We beat the Aboriginal team. It was awesome. But just to get around the culture side of things and to spend the whole week together was unreal. Like, really opens your eyes to sort of see what it's all about and how much it means to people. But then to get to play with the Kiwis was a different sort of feeling as well. You know, like it's kind of hard to explain, but to be able to represent a country where you're from, and that it's an unreal feeling. And it's sort of like I said at the start, you sort of pinch yourself now that you got to do it all, to get to play in those big tournaments and with some of the players I got to play with as well.
Yeah, awesome. Do you know whereabouts your grandparents and that are from? Where your heritage is from?
They're all from Huntley, like Waikato region. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, nice. Yeah, my partner's from Rotorua, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, you know, and speaking of which, you played your New Zealand debut in Rotorua against Tonga, mate.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
scored a couple of tries as well. How was that experience for you, mate? Because I know Rotorua is cold and it's wet always.
Yeah, no. So I'd been to Rotorua before. It took me my now wife over there. We went over for a holiday and we spent a few nights in Rotorua. So I'd been there before. But then to get to play like a home test match there was unreal. Against Tonga, I remember the support was pretty cool. It's probably wasn't as big as it is now. It's unreal right now, but to get to do that and to make my debut there was awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, that's cool, man. Go back to when you were a kid, mate. Who did you idolize, or who was your idol? You know, and like what about them made them your idol?
So my favorite player when I was growing up was Laurie Daly. I don't know. Back then it was so long ago. Just have like video clips or like videos of him and that, you know. So I used to watch a whole heap. The Raiders were pretty good back then too. So I used to watch a whole heap of him. So I love Laurie Daly. Then had like my older brothers were a fair bit older than me, so they're 15. Like the oldest brother would have been 15 years older. So he played when I was playing at Canning Bulldogs. He was playing there too. So and he was our coach and that. So I used to I looked up to him a whole heap. I used to think that comp was the best. You know, like that was the top for me. Seeing that comp, and I used to love all those guys. I don't know. I was just a young kid, you know. So. Then so he was playing in that, so I just thought that was great. So I used to look up to him a fair bit too.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, that's cool, man. With your career, maybe not just in your career, mate, but was there sort of like a dark time, a depressing time that you've gone through? You know, and if so, how did you get through it?
I had some hard times, man. Like I ruptured my spleen once, so. That year was at the Bulldogs. I thought I was playing really good. Sort of had a deal. I was about to just doing a new deal at the Dogs at the time in 2012, and then I ruptured my spleen. I missed the whole season. They going to make the grand final, so I missed out on that. 2014, sort of the same thing. I hurt my elbow and then wasn't playing too good. prior to that. So I missed that. I didn't get to play in that grand final either. And then I lost my brother like in the middle of the season too. Like it was like the start of a season. It was pretty hard, but man, I also you're pretty lucky to have like 30 of your best mates around you every day when you play footy. So you get to go in there every day. So the support network and everything around there, and you've got great staff at all the clubs and that. So whenever you're sort of down in footy or whatever, you always got people to speak to, or like you got your best mates there all the time. So you can always get through it, mate.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, with mental health being a big issue these days, mate, have you got advice for people that are going through their own struggles?
Oh yeah, the biggest advice I could probably give was it's just you have to tell someone. Like you can't just you can't keep it to yourself. As much as I don't know, you try to put yourself in their shoes and of someone gone through something like that, and maybe you think how do you say that you don't want to tell anybody. You think that maybe you think nobody cares, and they don't want to hear your problems or something like that. But the thing is, like everyone, if you told someone what really was happening or like what you're going through, people actually do care about you, you know. So the biggest thing for me, like the advice I could probably give is if you do tell somebody, like you're going to get help, and if they don't want to help you or something like, they're not really your friend, then are they? So
Yeah,
yeah.
And that's beautiful advice, mate. Absolutely. I just want to go back to your playing days, mate. In 2007, when you made your debut, mate, how was that feeling for you?
That was also, I still remember the day clear as I'd fractured my leg like about 7-8 weeks before that and playing reserve grade.
Yeah, right.
So I had a small crack in my leg, and then I played half a game, I think, off the bench. And then the week after, I was in first grade. Like, so I pretty much I don't know how it happened, but that's what I was saying at the start. You know, you just got to be lucky that someone's in there, you know, throw your name forward to play a game. You know, and I was lucky there. So pitch training with reserve grade, and then next minute, some of the boys had already sort of told me from the full-time squad that I was playing first grade that week, and I was like, oh, I thought I would have heard something if I was, you know. And then we were training, and I remember Ricky Stewart and the media guy was walking over in the middle of the field, and they pulled me out. So I remember that. It was like I thought it was the best feeling ever.
Yeah, awesome, mate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When you were playing, mate, you went over. You had a really good career at South. From the Bulldogs to the South, you had a really good career there. Obviously you had some injuries and stuff. I personally don't understand what happened with South, but you ended up going to Warrington, mate. What was the main reason for going over there?
Pretty much. South offered me a deal. I wanted 2 years. They wanted one. So it happens every year. It happens every week in the NRL, you know. So, and then like I wanted to stay at South, but then like I just thought to myself, you know, like it's an opportunity to go travel the world. I was happy and content of what I'd sort of achieved in the NRL at that time. So when that opportunity came up, I just the pros outweighed the cons, you know, to go over to England at that time. So just thought it'd be good, and it'd be good for the family. And I thought if we didn't like it, like home's always going to be there, so you can always just come home, you know. So and lucky enough I did go, because it was 2 of the best years of my life.
Yeah, awesome. With your career as well, mate, is there anything that you take out of your playing days that's made you into a better person, better father, or anything else once you finished?
Yeah, well, I learned a hell of a lot, you know. Like when I came to South, Michael Maguire was our coach. I respect him a whole heap. He sort of taught me how to train hard, like really hard. So we trained hard there. Just learned some good I felt I learned some good values. just from him and what we learnt and put together as a team there. We had a whole group of players there that were, like superstars and stuff, and just we're always on the same page. Everyone treated each other the same, but we always held each other accountable for everything that we did. So I can take that into sort of everyday life where you just you have to take like control of your own actions and what you do as a person, So if I can do that, and then I can look at myself in the mirror and just say, like, well, I'm a good person and I've done everything I can, then I'm sweet with that, Like, and I sort of learned that off Madge and everyone at South Shore.
Yeah, awesome. That's beautiful, mate. Like, wow. Have you got advice for kids coming up in sports life in general these days, mate? They seem to struggle with a lot of things these days. They don't know what to do, career paths, mental health, youth. Yeah, have you got advice for them?
Yeah, mate. Like, just don't, like, you see things. I think kids take things too serious. Like, sometimes there's always a time to take things serious, and there's always a time where you got to be able to switch off. But for young kids, like doing anything like sport, all types of sports, they just got to make sure they have fun at this young age. I see so many young kids with pressure thrown on them at such a young age. And from what I've sort of been through and seen, like, I've been around footy a long time, played a lot, and I just see the pressure that some kids get thrown onto them now. I'm just like, well, when I was a kid, all I did is play for fun. Like, of course I wanted to be good, but never had like that sort of pressure. Never put that pressure on myself to do anything. So that's why I coach a young team now, my son's team and that, and do some odds tag with kids and stuff. But all I put to them all the time is just make sure you try your best and just have fun. Like, that's what it's all about, is having fun. If you have fun and enjoy it and try your best, then if you're good enough and you work hard enough, you'll get there. Yeah, right, so it's going to work out, So that's the biggest thing for me, like for sports, for kids going forward in sports anyway.
Yeah, beautiful, mate. Yeah, absolutely great advice, mate. Right. Speaking of kids, mate, how many do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
No, 3 kids, 2 boys and a little girl.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, mate, they're great. So couldn't live without them anymore.
Anymore, yep. Yeah, I know how you feel, mate. I've got between me and my partner, mate, we got 12 kids. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and we got 10 of them live in this household. So yeah, it's a full-on household.
Yeah, I'd say.
And my 3 boys, they play league, and then my other bigger boys and stuff, and my bigger girls, they all want to play league this year. So.
Oh really? How good's that?
Yeah, so I'm going to have pretty much a whole household go to play league. So.
Who do they play for?
So my 3 boys, they were registered last year, or they played last year for a new team in the comp, Serpentine Jarrahdale.
Okay.
And the other kids, the girls in that, because Serpentine's only got a couple of teams at the moment, they didn't have anything for my older son, who would play in 16s, and that. So we're going to get them to go play for South Perth as well.
Yeah, where's Serpentine?
So that's about 15-minute drive south of Armidale.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, it's the closest team to Armidale because that's where we live. And, yeah, I mean, you either got, for my bigger kids, you either got Kalamunda Bulldogs now, or the South Perth Lions. So, yeah, we got some family members that play at South Perth, so we're going to send them over there.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Speaking of Perth, mate, with the NRL, the 17th team just come in. The NRL's not going to look at having 17 uneven teams for too long. Do you reckon Perth's got a good chance for the 18th?
Yeah, well, personally, I think they need to have an 18th team. I think they can really. It's good for the players and that to have the bye, but personally, I think you need an 18th team. It needs to be an even number, and I don't know. To me, it has to be Perth. Not just because I'm from there. If I wasn't from anywhere and I just sort of knew rugby league and television rights, TV times and stuff, Perth just it's just a natural fit with the time delays and everything. You'd have a live game like late every Saturday night. So over here in Sydney, it'd be 9:30 over here and be 7:30 Perth or whatever, something like that. It's live every week, you're guaranteed. So, plenty of planes to get everyone over there. It's easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, I've heard the argument too with people saying that the turnaround time that would be the big issue for players.
Yeah, they fly to New Zealand. It's still 4 hours from Sydney, so 4 hours to Perth.
Yeah, well, I said the counter argument to that was there's 2 AFL teams over here that do it every week.
That's right.
And if they want to compete with the AFL, that's what they got to do.
Yeah, and that's 100% right. I agree, mate. And then the AFL do it. There's basketball teams, everything. So why not put a rugby league team there?
Yeah. Do you think with this, the 17th and the 18th team, coming in, the NRL need to sort of look at a draft system for the younger kids?
I don't know how a draft system really works, but so just if the draft system and then players such as say Penrith or teams such as Penrith lose all their juniors, I find that not fair. I don't know if that's how it works, but if that's how it works, and Penrith lose all their juniors, like you look at their team this year, it's stacked full of their juniors because they've got good ones and they look after them. That's not fair. You got Cronulla's got a big bunch of a massive junior system now of young kids coming through. Brisbane want to keep all theirs and so forth, So I don't know about the draft. The problem probably now, the last 2 years, you don't know the quality of player coming through with the COVID that the COVID's scrapped the competitions for the last 2 years. So a lot of young kids, 18, 19, 20 have missed out on a whole heap of footy now. It's going to be hard for them. And so is there now a gap for that 2 years of talent coming through? But I don't know. If you look hard enough, you'll find good footy players, but you just need to make sure there's a few lopsided results last year in that, so you just need to make sure that comp's nice and even to keep the fans guessing every week. Yeah.
I think with the draft system, you got to nominate to go into the draft. So and then basically, whoever finishes bottom of the ladder gets to pick the best talent.
They get first pick. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So if all the Penrith juniors, for example, wanted to go into the draft, then more than likely they would lose them all. But
they'd lose them all. Yeah.
But half of them would probably end up staying at Penrith anyway because Penrith would be able to pick them up.
Okay, well, if it works like that, but that'd be great.
I think it would even out the competition a lot more.
Yeah.
Me personally. You wouldn't have this big disparity from top to bottom. Where the bottom teams are struggling to get back up the top, and teams like Melbourne Roosters and Penrith are sitting up the top for so long.
Yeah, it all comes down to good. Well, it's my belief, anyways, that it all comes down to good management as well, like the front office. So you can see the Bulldogs, Gus has come in there. They've changed a few people over. Not saying the past ones weren't good, but something's happened there before, and then Gus has come in, and you look at the squad they've assembled now for the next few years, man. They're going to be strong. Maybe not this year, but the year after, they've already signed Reid Mahoney and stuff, so they'll be out there. And then the Roosters, Storm, and they're well known over here to have good boards and a good administrative team, and same as South, So that's a big reason as why they're at the top.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. What are you up to these days? Do you have any business interests or anything like that, mate?
Mate, that's right. All I do now, I'm just with the kids and that now, a whole heap. Coach a few teams, coach son's team and that. Just running like a sports training camps for kids, but I've just got into the player agent business now. So just starting with PSM. Started with PSM, so I'll be doing player management, like player agency,
Yeah, cool, mate.
And then you send me all the best kids from South.
Right, we've got a couple. We got there's a few talented players over here that I think it's just sort of the hard thing is there's no pathway over here at the moment.
Yeah, that's what you need. Yeah, that's the hard thing.
Like the WA's got the Pirates and the SG Ball, but like you were saying before, that no one's been playing.
Yeah.
And then it's it's only a few people like yourself. I know Jordan Pereira was another one he's in the NRL. There's not a hell of a lot of people from Perth that get recognised, and if they do, they have to move over to Sydney or Brisbane.
Yeah, the thing is, you got to move young. You've got to come when they're like 17, 18, to play in that under-20s competition, because if from there, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, exactly. Mate, that's all I've got for you today, mate. I really appreciate your time coming on board and having a chat with me, buddy, and talking about your career.
Right.
Yeah, is there anything you want to say to the people that will eventually end up watching?
No, I mean, other just thanks for having me. I hope you've enjoyed. It's like a little insight into what I've been through and everything, So, thanks for having me.
Awesome, mate. Thank you for your time, buddy. Good luck with everything.
All right, thanks, man.
mate.
You too.
See you, mate.
Thanks, mate. See ya.